Hello all and welcome to the latest Craft Mania Sunday Showcase. Now before we get started today, we have a competition for you. For the first time ever, you can win one of my creations. Now today I've made 7 different projects that we'll be talking about shortly, but as I show you them, in front of them will be a little cardboard number, like so. And if you take note of the number card you would like to win and pop that in the comments, at the end of the week we will pick one lucky winner to win one of our projects, and it'll be announced on next week's Sunday Showcase. Now don't worry if you don't live local to one of our stores. UK P&P is included free of charge, so we'll send it anywhere in the UK for you. Obviously outside of that I'm afraid it's not open to you, sadly, sorry. So today we have 6 brand new dies to talk about. Now these I can't infuse enough about. They are so amazing and you've got so many options to do with these. So let's start off by looking at die number 1. We're going to look at this one. This is our delicate oval. Now these are massive dies, to be honest. They're on the scale of the grand nestabilities, if that means anything to you, if you've seen them before. But unlike those where they're just one solid shape, these have a really great unique selling point as such, in the fact that you get half of the die, which means we can use them in so many different ways and create so many different effects with these than if they were just a solid shape like the other designs. So I'll talk you through the actual different options for you, and then we'll look at some of my samples and that might make a little bit more sense. So that was your delicate oval. We then have our delicate heart square. We then have our ornate rectangle. We then have our star square, our scalloped circle, and our ironwork circle. Okay, so lots of options there for you. Now these normally retail for $34.99 a design. So this week we have an amazing offer for you where you can pick any of the 6 designs for just $19.99 each. But if you're struggling and you want more than just the one, we have another offer for you as well. You can pick any 3 of them for just £50, which is really good because of normally 3 of them, if you went by the proper recommended retail price, would cost you £104.97. So it's a really nice saving to get 3 for £50. Of course, you could always go really mad and buy all 6, and that would only cost you £100, and then you'd be getting 200 and something pounds worth of stuff. So real bonuses today. So let's have a little look at how these work. As I said to you earlier, you get one side of the die, which is then up to you how you wish to use it. So I've got one here I've cut for you just on the side of an A4 piece of card, so you can see that is exactly what it will do. And then from there the options are really endless. You can of course just have one side cut off the excess bit, fold it round and have that as the front of your card if you want to. You can match them up, they are designed to match perfectly, and then you can cut out that square as an entirety and just have it as an ordinary square die cut. You could leave a gap in the middle if you wanted to, and then cut this up this end for instance, giving you more room in the middle to play with and opens up a whole new host of ideas to them. Or you could of course pick a different design completely, unnest them or do something out of this side of them. The options really are endless. There's just so many things you can do with these. I've only made 7 examples today, but I could have carried on forever because there's just so much you can do. And the examples I have made, don't be fooled. Just because I've used a square, for instance, you could probably do the same cards with the circles or the ovals. There really is no right or wrong here. If you like the idea of the card, do think about how the other dies could be used, because of so many of them could be done with all of the different designs. So with that in mind, let's start off with card number 1. Now card number 1 is really simple. If we lay it out here, you can see that is the same sample as I just showed you, using that lovely star square. And I've just used an A4 piece of card, I've cut it at both ends, trimmed it to match at the top and the bottom, and then I've just scored it at the edges of where my cut is to create this card. Now today I've gone for a different theme with all of my cards. They're all using the same products. So I've used the same background papers, the same peel-offs, the same butterflies and flowers, just so you can see, really ignore the decoration and look to the card and the cut itself. I didn't want to bamboozle you with different colour schemes and designs because I really want you to see how lovely these dies are on their own. One of the good bits with these as well is they cut like a dream. The actual bits just stay in the actual card, they don't get stuck in the die, and then as you just touch the card they just fall out. They're really, really easy designs to work with. So just to talk about the pieces that are on here, the flower die is £11.99. You're going to see that on all of the cards today. So if you do like that one, it comes with the leaves. You get all of the layers of the flowers and a couple of different leaves for £11.99. The butterflies on this card are from this set, which is our £14.99 set of 3 designs. You'll see a couple of them used throughout on today. And then in the middles of the flowers, I've used our really nice gems, which I often go on about. They're these ones. They come in cream, white and silver, and they're only £1.29 a packet, but they make really nice centres for flowers. So if you haven't got them already, that's what's hidden in the middles of all of these. So that was card number 1. If you do want to enter our competition, don't forget number 1. And a really nice, easy one to send, fold up. So many ideas you could do with that style. Moving on to card number 2. Now, you probably don't want to try and win this. Don't want to try and win this one because I've left a jolly great hole in the middle of it. And I've done this for a good reason. This is just an ordinary opening card. But what I've done is I wanted to show you how you could use these as like an edgeable die. Because of you're getting that half of it and it's up to you where you put it, all I've done is taken an ordinary card blank, folded it in half, and then on the crease of it, cut out my really lovely heart square die. Now this is about the 2nd or 3rd one in the packet. It's not by far the largest, so if you did want to go bigger you could, or you could of course go smaller, but I've left it open so you can see that you can cut that out. Now of course you could pop a piece of card over that and even a bit of backing paper to cover it up, but the other reason I wanted to leave this like this was to show you different options. Because I've cut that like that, if I didn't want to have it just as an ordinary standing card, we could of course just add a stopper bar and this card would then become an easel if you wanted to, just an upward easel, so the actual piece of the card goes up in the air. Or if I hadn't have decorated that side of the card, I could flip that over and this could come around that way and then we could have a more traditional easel with this actually as a header up in the air. I hope that's making sense, and for those of you that watch me on silent, you're probably really confused why I'm flipping this card upside down and inside out 100 times. But there are lots of options you could do with these dies, and that's what I'm really trying to show you, is this is just one version that I've come up with this die, but there's so much you can do. So again, butterflies are out of the pink set of dies. That's this one down here in the corner for those of you that are trying to follow this to see if you've already got them. If you haven't, it's a really lovely set to work with. There's just a couple of them dotted about. Same flowers again, as I said, you're going to get to see all of these colour schemes and items many times over. Moving on to card number 3. Now this really is a bit of a blast from the past for me. I'm sure many of you have remembered the book of tricks of the craze that was a few years ago. Well, to create this I've obviously used our delicate rectangle die, and these make perfect books. They're such a lovely die to work with. I have one of these because I wanted to share this with you as well. This is actually the largest one out of that, so you can see popped on here, that's the largest I cut out of an A4 sheet, and these are big beastie dies, and there is so much you could use that size for if you wanted to, but for my booklet I've gone for the smaller sizes. I think again I'm on about the 3rd size down for this one, so if you wanted bigger books that isn't a problem, you could of course go smaller as well. The book is just made up of 3 of the die cuts, so 3 pages as such. These are actually joined and I've just folded them in the middle, glue gunned them down the centre to keep the book together, and then added in paper pages from my 12x12 in the middles of them. The butterfly is the one I was just pointing to a little while ago on the pink set. Same flowers again, same backing paper. Behind it I've just made a really nice easy stand to keep the book on. Of course you could pop it in a box instead if you prefer. If you do get the die and you make these and you want to copy my stand, really easy. A4 sheet of card popped onto the board as a landscape, scored at 1 centimetre and 2.5, and then just scored and folded in the middle to make this bit with the leftover. So really easy to do them if you want to, but of course you could make bigger or smaller stands depending on what size booklet you decide to create. Of course you don't have to use that die as a booklet, there are so many things you could do with rectangles, and these again would make really nice easel cards if you prefer. Moving on to number 4, I think this is my largest creation of the day. This is our delicate oval, which was the very first die I showed you, and this is using the largest die in the set to make my actual base for my card. Now this is a proper easel card, so I've cut out 3 of these, and you can see there's another one in the middle, so we have a full one on the base, one here to actually hold it together, and then the top one as well. And this time you can see I've stuck very much to the similar things, except I've added in a paper branch, or a die cut of a branch I should say, which is this one, which is £13.49. And on the side here, I'm going to confuse you slightly because I've used another die, and that is using our delicate heart square, and it's the second size up on them. Now this time obviously I've just done it quite normally, just back to back to make just an ordinary topper piece. Don't forget you can do that. These, as I say, I can't infuse enough. There's so many things you can do with them, but you can of course just cut them back to back and use them as an ordinary topper, and it just gives you more value for money that way as well. So that was card number 4. Moving on, we have card number 5, and this again is a bit of a blast from the past. I know when we opened many moons ago, nearly 15 years ago now, handbag cards were all the rage, and everybody wanted little Velcro discs to do them up. And when I see this card, again, it's just an A4 sheet this is cut from, and I cut the designs at the end of it, and I thought, well, this really does show you how you could just turn it into a handbag. It's sort of got that point, hasn't it, on the actual die cut to do that with. So this is of course is using the star square. I've just cut it twice at the end of an A4, one each end, and then I've done ones out of my 12x12 design to layer on the top of it. The butterfly this time is a different one. It's my £3.99 butterfly. It comes on its own. It's a little bit bigger and really nice to work with again, but it just popped on the corner here. We've then got a little bit of braid, which is different on this one, and of course the chain is out of our beading section. So if you haven't seen that before, we do actually sell this in store if you wish to make your own handbags. That was card number 5. Moving on, I hope you're keeping up with all these. We're on to number 6. So if you do want to win this one is number 6. This time I've got an ordinary card blank, just a proper A5 card blank. I've actually just kept it folded in half and put my die over the top of the crease. So if you imagine, I'm going to try and show you with this bit because I hadn't prepared to do this. If you imagine this is an A5 card, I've just taken the die, I've popped it on top slightly above the crease line of it and sent that through the machine. Now these dies are really good, they will just cut through both layers of your card, so that if you don't want to have to try and line it up, you can. It will of course depend on what machine you're using and how thick a card you're cutting through, but this is just an ordinary one of our waffle card blanks, and it will cut through like a dream, no problem. So that's an easier way if you do struggle to line them up. Not that you should, because they are dead easy, but if you are struggling, that's a really simple way to do it. That is the largest of the delicate circles at the edge there from this set. Moving up, we then have the next size, which I've just cut out of white card as a complete circle and foam padded onto it. And then in the middle of that is the third one down, which is out of our matching 12x12 paper. And then on the top of it, we of course have the same flowers, and the butterflies again are out of the pink set of dies. That's this one here, just so you can see where they've come from. And that's pretty much it for that one. But I really like that, and it's obviously got a bit of a rocky motion to it as well if you want it to. And so lots of options you could do with them as well. Moving on, we have my final project. This is number 7, and again it's using the circle set. Lots of different options with this one again. This one is actually using the top 3 sizes, but I wanted to show you, and again this would work with all of these. You can use them as frame dies as well. Just by nesting the next one inside it, you can then cut them out as frames. You of course don't have to do it how I have here. You could actually make them as proper individual frames. Really easy to do. Or if you want to, you could do like this effect. So this again is just an A4 sheet of card. I've cut the largest circle on each end. I've scored down the edge of it on each side, and then I've married the next 2 dies up onto the crease line, and that will equally space them out to cut the next levels. And that's it really, just done 3 times on each side. I didn't, but I'm sure if you wanted to, you could even tape all 3 in one place and do it in one go, if that makes sense. I wasn't too sure where I was going to stop with mine, so I did them individually. But I'm sure you could, if you wanted to, do all 3 at once to save a bit of time. In the middle of that then we have the 4th layer down that I've just cut out of the matching 12x12 paper, and then of course we've got the big butterfly, the £3.99 one, and the flowers used again. If you have fallen in love with the paper I've been showing you today, it is a double-sided one. That's the side I've used most of, and then on the other side we've got little text bits and banners, That's £1.09 and available in store if you do wish to. But we do actually have over 2,000 different 12x12s. So if you don't like the colour scheme of today's collection, of course you could be doing these to any theme. The dies themselves are just so lovely to work with and so delicate that whatever theme you were doing, you could work these into it. I was really tempted to do a whole nother collection of Christmas because I am on a bit of a Christmas kick, but I know I've bombarded you with Christmas collections over the last few weeks, so I thought it might be nice to do a different colour scheme and just show you how subtle these can be and let the actual dies show you how lovely the dies are themselves. Last notes with those, this is another one I've cut just as another idea for you. This is again just an ordinary card blank, and I've just popped that one, the same as I said on the circle one, folded it in half, put the die on the spine of it and sent it through. That again is the heart square, the delicate heart square. Another option for the circle one, I've put this onto an A4, and that's the gap that you're left with in the middle. So I actually planned, or I scored it and was planning that I would sandwich a couple of dies into the middle of this and make it sort of stand with those in the middle, and then you could fold it flat to send it if you wanted to. Another one of the ones out of that really ornate rectangle one. Again, this is just a square card blank. I've lined the die up with the spine of it and sent it through, and it's cut through both layers at once just to make a smaller card. Now obviously this is about the 3rd or 4th size down on the die, so you could of course be doing this with the bigger ones on your 8x8 cards or your 7x7 cards if you wanted to. There is so many options with these. As I say, I really could keep you here all day going on about different ways you can cut with them and different effects you can create with them. If you do purchase any of these, we would love to see what you create with them and the ideas you come up with. So please don't hesitate to pop pictures on our Facebook in your posts so we can see what you've been creating. Once again, don't forget the competition. If you do want to win one of our cards, it's number 1 to 7. Pop in the comments either on our YouTube channel or on our Facebook page. We will collaborate all of that and we will pick one lucky winner to win one of our cards on next week's Sunday Showcase. To run through your offer once again, you can buy any of the dies for £19.99, or if you wish to, you can pick any 3 for £50. They would normally cost you $34.99, which means that if you do go for the free offer, you are getting £104.97 worth of dies for just £50. If you do wish to have them held in store, please pop in the comments the designs you would like, and we will have them held for you up until 5 PM on the 16th of September 2017, which of course is when our offer ends. And next Sunday I'll be back again with another new video for you. Don't forget, obviously, all of our dies can be purchased on our website as well. And if you do spend over £35, P&P is completely free. If you don't go for over £35, don't worry, P&P is just a flat rate of £2.75. You can find the website address in the description above. Thank you so much. See you next week. Bye for now.